Let's take a look at the chart action for Dogecoin. Alright, so here is what I was looking at. Yesterday, I was watching this pattern. We had a channel pattern, something like this. We had resistance, resistance, support, 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 bouncing in between these two trend lines. I was saying if we could break that going to the upside, then I'll be looking at targeting from the top to the bottom of the channel, something like this, dragging that to the breakout, or targeting it from the top to bottom right there, dragging this to the breakout, and I was looking at a target of around 0.1509. We actually came up, hit that. The next thing that I'm looking at right now is we have support right here, support right here, support right here. I'm watching this trend line, something like this. If we break this trend line going to the downside, I think that'll be a signal that we might be changing direction or might be getting a little retracement. I don't know where we would be if we break this. I'm not sure where we would bounce at. Maybe we could look for support down here at this trend line, down here. If we zoom out a little bit, we had support, support, support. If we break this going down, I might be looking at this spot down here, maybe sitting around maybe 0.139. The other thing is though, in yesterday's video, I was also talking about if we go to the daily time frame, we were on the 4-hour time frame just now. Let's go ahead and delete this channel pattern right here. I was really watching this big resistance zone right here, and I had this red line drawn out, and I was saying if we break above that on the daily time frame and close this candle above it, I think that's going to be a good signal, and we did do that. So I think this is good right here that we're closing. We kind of broke out of this little resistance zone. We got a candle that's like above it right there. So what I'm thinking next is if we could stay maybe this red line, instead of it being resistance, maybe it'll turn in support and we'll actually get a bounce at this level right here. And this level that I was looking at was around 0.143. So it's possible. I mean, even if we break this trend going to the downside, maybe it'll bounce right there. We still haven't broken to the downside. It does look like we're holding support right there. I think my next target is this little resistance area right here. We wicked up right there perfectly to that red line, and then we had some resistance right here at the red line as well. The red line is sitting at around 0.153. So let's see what happens at this level here. If we break through that, I think we're going to get a nice move, and then we can start looking at the next target, which might be the ultimate target, or at least one that might give us more trouble, is 0.190. We had resistance, resistance, resistance. Every time we came up to that, we couldn't stay above it, and we pretty much got rejected right at that level. So like around that level, I'm using this spot right here mostly. We did come up above it these two times, but this one was a nice little solid area where we got some nice resistance. That's the level that I'm looking at it anyways, at around 190. We might come up a little higher because we had wicks. You can also argue we have something like this. Let's do another line, maybe somewhere right here at around 0.215, because that's where the wicks go. I mean, it could possibly pop all the way up over there. But in general, I think we have a lot of resistance right here, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens. We might have to come up and retest the trend line, kind of like we're doing right now. We had a breakout. Let's go ahead and zoom in again. We had a breakout out of this little channel pattern that I was watching. Where is it? We have this downtrend like this. We're breaking it. We broke out right here, and now it looks like we're coming down to test this uptrend that we have. So in general, I think maybe this resistance spot is down up here somewhere in this general area. I think at 0.19 is the first stop, possibly. Maybe that is where it's going to come down and have to retest the uptrend. So yeah, let's see what kind of uptrend we form. We're still kind of early on this bounce. Let's see if we can continue to push up and keep the momentum going. As you can see, we're on the 4-hour time frame, and we have this 4-hour 180 moving average, which is giving us trouble for a long time. In general, when you look at this chart, when we break below this 180 moving average, we get this big downtrend. We break below it, big downtrend, and in general, what we want to do is break above it so we can get that support on it and at least get an uptrend. Right here, we broke above it, but right here we broke below it and had a big downtrend. So that's one of the other things that I'm kind of looking at, the 4-hour 180 moving average on Dogecoin. I've been watching this for a long time. I think I've been watching it all pretty much all last year too. That was one of the things that I was kind of keeping my eye on, is this 180 moving average. Right now is what I'm trying to say is we're right about to test it. Let's see if we could break through it, and then maybe we can get support on it as opposed to being below it. Even if we break through it, we usually get a nice little pop when we break through them. So looks like we're testing that right now. Let's see if we could break through it. We've already came up and tested a couple times. Let's see if we can keep that momentum and going to the upside. In general, like I said, I'm watching this 4-hour time frame. We have a uptrend like this. So I'm watching the 4-hour time frame when we have this little uptrend like this. Let's see if we can hold this. And like I was saying, if we break this going to the downside, then I'll be looking at this trend line down here for support. Maybe we'll get a bounce over here at around 0.139 approximately, or this red line over here at around 143. Like I was saying, on the daily time frame, we have this like little block of resistance where it was previous resistance. Maybe now it'll turn into previous, and now it'll turn into support and give us a bounce. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. We haven't even broke the trend line yet, so technically we're still bouncing to the upside. And let's see, we can let's go to the 1-hour time frame. We have a little downtrend, maybe something like this. If we break this trend going to the upside, then maybe we can start testing this 4-hour 180 moving average and start to either test this 0.153 level and have to come down and retest, or break through and look for the next level, which could either be at this level, or in general I'm looking at around 190.190. Okay, so before we go, I wanted to kind of show you guys where some of my positions were on this chart. If we zoom out, and we're on the 4-hour time frame right now, we wicked all the way down here, and so I had a limit order set at 0.137, so I have a small position right there. And then we had we had the bottom of the bodies right here, and I had a position or a limit order set at 0.141. So those two orders got filled, and I have positions on those now. And then right here, like I said, we had this channel pattern. I bought this breakout, and I haven't sold it yet. I'm still kind of waiting to see what happens with this trend line. And in general, I'm trying to kind of dollar cost average in these lower levels to kind of lower my average in general. And I don't really want to give up on this uptrend quite yet, but let's say it does start breaking it to the uptrend, breaking this to the downside. I am in a good position on this one down here. So like right now I'm up from this one, like, let's see, what is it? It's maybe 8%, close to 7%, 8%. So let's say we start breaking this downtrend going to the downside. What I can do is sell this single position right here, and then set up another limit order to maybe hit the bottom support right there, or like I was talking about, maybe something like this back at 0.143, where we had that daily kind of zone right there at around 0.143. Or if we go to the 4-hour, we had this uptrend right here sitting at around, what was it, maybe 0.139 or something like that. So it just depends on, or you could just even wait for a bounce. Whoops. In general, like I said though, I was just trying to dollar cost average at these lower levels. But if I wanted to trade, then that's how I would kind of do it. If I kind of want to wait and see this play out a little longer. But in general, if I was watching this uptrend and let's say we start breaking to the downside, you can potentially take profits up here at like 6 or 7, 8%, which is nothing to shake your head at. And if it goes down, then you can scoop up another. If we go down here, even like right there is 5% to this little zone right here isn't much though. So if we go down and we come down to this zone, 2%, 2.5%, not horrible, but once after fees and stuff like that, it's not too much. So that's why I kind of want to wait to see what happens on this trend, give it a little chance to at least maybe come up and hit this area up here. But in general, like I said, dollar cost averaging, in my opinion, at these lower levels wasn't a bad idea. And these are kind of smaller positions in general. I'm not too hardcore on Dogecoin, just kind of playing around with it and kind of dollar cost averaging little by little, slowly, kind of nibbling on it, just doing small positions, kind of playing around with it. Let me know what you think though. If you have any questions, join the Discord. We can have a crypto chat on there. If you're new to trading, check out this video right here. It's a video about buying and selling. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.